money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard, live with you downtown Las Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino. Very busy 3-hour program lined up. Paul Charchian in 30 minutes. You're calling this the biggest regular season game in history. Why not?
Sure.
The loser goes to 14-3. They don't win their division, and they drop to the 5 seed. Yeah, great stuff. Mm-hmm. Steve Wiss, Best Bets in Soccer. Brad Powers, college football as well. And we have the Sugar Bowl starting, I think, in a couple of minutes. Now, if they were all fired up yesterday to, both teams, every side, and I get it, right? They want to play this early. The get-in price right now was like $12 before the game started because people were like, I did what? We plan to come down here and then we were going to leave on the 2nd. We can't make plans for this. And anyway, obviously, with the tragedy yesterday, and we've gotten to this point now, I hope they're going to kick off here in a couple of minutes, and it's not like some 3:26 Central Time kickoff after some big festivities at the beginning.
Let's go Irish. Let's get it done, right? Penn State, Notre Dame would be huge. Again, the teams have been horrific with the bye. It's been a big disadvantage, and this has been a hell of a Notre Dame team. Great rushing attack. Leonard's been awesome, and we'll see if what Stockton brings to the table here. It's a big unknown. While he was great in the second half against Texas, I think this is a big ask here going against a big Notre Dame defense here and a solid Irish team.
Yep, totally agree. So on the screen right now, it appears as if it's going to close at Notre Dame 1, total 45.5 at most spots. I do see a 1.5 out there still, and that is at FanDuel and maybe a couple of other spots as well. Total is 45.5. I'll make my case for the under again.
Yeah.
Couple things here. So the Fighting Irish ran for 193 yards against Indiana, 98 on one play. The other 34 attempts equaled 95 yards. That's 2.8 yards per carry. Georgia allows 3.8 yards per carry and 129 yards per game. That is top 10 EPA per rush in the country, 24th overall in success rate. Georgia is 82nd in yards per carry on offense and 96th in rushing yards per game at a little bit more than 125. Notre Dame, of course, they're kind of up against it with the injuries, but you can say the same thing about the quarterback situation with Georgia. Riley Mills is out for the season, lost him for the Indiana game, the D-line, some other injuries as well. Gunnar Stockton, 62 dropbacks in his career. 20 versus Texas. He was 12 of 20, 4.4 yards per attempt and a horrible INT. And I'll tie in again what Texas did on the ground against this Georgia defense in the regular season. In that loss, when that was pretty much over with at halftime, they ran for 29 yards and 1.1 yards per carry. After that game, they ran for 104 against Vandy. Not great, but it got better. Then 210 against Florida, $139 against Arkansas, 251 against Kentucky, and 243 against A&M before they ran for 31 yards against Georgia again in the SEC title game. My point is here, and Indiana's rush defense was very, very good. Take away that 98-yard run, and Notre Dame didn't do much. Maybe there's a path here where neither team can really run the football. Then it comes down to Stockton making plays as a guy who doesn't have much experience at all, and then Riley Leonard against an overall pretty decent Georgia defense. And I like him as an overall mobile quarterback, but to win a game or be super prolific passing the ball, we haven't really seen that much. And so I think there's an angle here where this game is going to be, 17-13,
Should be. Okay, on your angle, I played no score. First 5.5 minutes, $1.30, and I played first quarter under 10, minus 130.
I like those.
The other thing is, will the real Georgia stand up since the Clemson win? You gave up 41 points to Alabama. You beat Texas twice, but Texas outplayed you big time in the first half of the SEC title game, and Texas has been exposed here in the playoff. Clemson going up and down the field, Arizona State going up and down the field, and they should have lost to Arizona State. They were thoroughly outplayed and dominated by Ole Miss. They also, the game I can't get out of my mind, out of my head, is Georgia Tech. At home, average team, average ACC team, in a game they had to have, won 44-42. King threw for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he ran for 100 yards. And if they don't miss the targeting call, they lose that game. And if they can make one play defensively, they lose that game. So also you scored 44 and Beck was great in the second half. The unknown is what this guy can do and if he can do anything through the air as well. So also, though, I will say the winner has to love their spot because Penn State has not been impressive so far, and I guarantee you're not going to get 4 turnovers in the next game in the Orange Bowl. So it's right there for Notre Dame. They're favored. I think they should win this game.
I hope they
would
do.
pick them against Penn State, and Ohio State, Notre Dame would be the nuts, and I think that's where we could be headed.
So I'm personally here. I have both these teams to win the national title. I bet Georgia plus 625 after they had a loss this year. And I bet Notre Dame a couple of weeks ago at 12-1. That ticket pays much more than the Georgia ticket. So I did add a little bit on Georgia today at when I got to plus 105 on the money line to win the game outright. I actually hope I lose that ticket, and my Notre Dame future then is alive and kicking. And I think, like Notre Dame, depending, we'll see if anybody gets injured or not. But I think I would like Notre Dame against Penn State to advance. And I'm also going to probably add. I told you yesterday I was going to do this rollover parlay on Ohio State. So I bet the minus 135 on the money line yesterday. I have since rolled that ticket over at minus 210 on the money line against Texas. And I'm probably going to add them at plus 120 to win the national title because they are peaking right now. And this offense, I don't know where it was all year long. And we were on the air live yesterday for that Rose Bowl performance. Is any team close to them right now? I would have to say no to that. So I'd like to maybe, if in a perfect world for me, I bet Ohio State at plus 120. They beat Texas. Notre Dame wins today. They beat Penn State. And then I'm sitting there live with, a ticket that I've rolled over twice. I would roll over again, and I would have Ohio State at plus 120 and Notre Dame at 12-1. I could live with that.
What did you get no touchdown at?
80-1.
Okay. Not bad.
That would be, the Sugar Bowl a couple years ago with Georgia and Ohio State was incredible. And it was up and down the field, and 40-plus points were scored by both teams. I need the exact opposite here in this game.
Yeah.
Like scoreless at halftime, and I'll be pounding a beer on the air.
Great. Yeah, I'm with you. Let's do it. I like Stockton rushing yards over, too. 23.5. That should happen.
I think that makes sense, Paul.
Yeah. Back to what you said, too. How does Ohio State do this? Jeremiah Smith, Harrison Jr., JSN, Garrett Wilson. It's ridiculous, the talent that they have. And then this guy is so good, and now it's like just waiting for his time to go pro and become an NFL star.
Terry McLaurin. Don't forget about him.
But, I mean, it's just ridiculous how much talent they have in these wide receivers.
Well,
they can find them. And I know Ryan Day, Dan Wetzel told the story today about when Day got the information. He was meeting with the media, and he let a huge sigh of relief out once they got the commitment and they realized, because this guy is a game changer and can just wreck your defense and wreak havoc. And that thing was over in the first quarter yesterday.
I love what you were saying to me before the show started. Like, what if Michigan just said, Jeremiah, you want $10, $15 million a year?
Yeah, it's Wild West
sure.
now.
You want to transfer over to us?
Right.
There's no commissioner.
No.
There are no rules in place, really.
If you're Phil Knight or Michigan and you just paid a quarterback an unknown $12 million, what would you pay for one of the best wide receivers we've ever seen? And you can steal him from Ohio State.
Right, and you saw that, and you had that feeling in your stomach watching him go up and down the field in the first half, and you had no answer for him whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the game was over with in the second quarter.
Sure. So it's like, well, he wouldn't do that. You would, but everyone's got a price, right? Right, Luke? Everyone's got a price. So it goes back to... There we go, DiBiase. Yeah, great job, guys. So it goes back to it. You want to whatever you want to throw at me. Cam Ward had a price, $3.5 million.
Right,
okay,
right.
Miami worked out offensively. Defense didn't help them out. But it's like if you're going to throw these kids this kind of money, and then you mentioned the Ewers report on the air yesterday.
$6 million.
I mean,
for
if he's going to get $5-6 million, what could the best wide receiver get? Or you just see what the Michigan paid for the quarterback.
Right. So this would be a hot take, and I'll throw it out there. I don't think Oregon's ever going to win a national title in my lifetime. That's part of my brain.
Well, Phil Knight's trying, though. He's
But
hoping so.
The other part of me is saying, well, Mitch, what if Phil Knight just says, I want to have a $75 million payroll? And that's probably the approach that he should take. He wants to win a title before he dies.
Yes, he does.
So just go out there this offseason, and here you go. Here he has an unlimited bankroll. And let's just pay the best players in the country to come here, one right after another, because I need to win that title before I die.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't do that, I'm quite confident in saying that they're never going to win a title. But if they do that, take that approach, they can.
Well, you know this, too. I mean, we've dated beautiful women, and a lot of people like to flex and show off. That's a perfect scenario with Michigan. Hey, it's a billionaire doing a favor for, was a girlfriend, wife, whatever it was. Hey, and she's a hardcore Michigan fan.
Right.
Okay, honey, here you go. You don't want the Birkin bag? You don't want the car? How about a quarterback? Because it's like, what? He's got that money in his sofa. Who cares? It's nothing, right? It's like Ballmer. When he met with the Sterlings, I'll pay $2 million or $2 billion. What do you? Okay. Sterling's like, you got the money? Yeah, I'll send it right over. Like Sterling didn't know who the guy was. He's like, yeah, I'm worth $30 billion. I have it covered. No problem.
Come on, pull up your phone. It's going to get wired over in 19 seconds. Come on. Who are you kidding here? $2 billion?
Yeah,
chump change.
That was a great story. Got that, Sterling. You have that? You can send it over? Yeah, don't worry about it.
When people are worth, when you're getting up there into the tens of billions, beyond that, hundreds of billions, whatever it is, $15 million for a quarterback is $85 for us.
Yeah.
Whatever it is,
Well, and everyone wants to be a part of a winner.
Right.
This is why I think.
And by the way, college, to some people, college means everything.
True.
Like their alma mater means more than anything else.
True. This is why I think it's over for Alabama. Saban gone, and NIL levels the playing field. Now everyone gets paid. 4 losses now.
I would say that there's a pretty good chance, unless somebody like a Phil Knight or the SMU oil money.
Yeah, that's right. Billionaires all over the place.
Sure,
that's right.
They have $50 million payrolls every single year.
Good point by you, because that's the perfect storm. They sucked for so long, death penalty. They went to the school, billionaires. We don't need TV money for 9 years.
Right.
No problem. That's a great example.
Crazy. Up next, Week 18 numbers, NFL motivation, a big question for this week. And how do you approach teams resting their starters? There's an angle that's 74% over the last 12 years. Details next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
The Sugar Bowl is underway. Georgia ball to begin. They went rush for 2-yard loss, rush for no gain, and then an incomplete pass, but they got bailed out because Notre Dame committed a 15-yard PI. And then the next play was a 5-yard loss on the ground, and now Gunnar Stockton broke one for about 6-7 yards, and they're looking at a 3rd down here, early stages, first quarter, as you need that clock to keep ticking. And for them to take their time here as you have no score in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, the PI didn't help. It's too bad.
I did not see the replay. Was it legit?
Yeah, he was holding.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like the reaction, by the way, from the Arizona State call yesterday. Everybody in the world, but the people on the field, thinking that it was targeting.
How about that? And people who cover the sport saying 100 out of 100 times that's targeting.
Isn't that sickening?
And then there's no explanation, right? And we're on the air. Fumble?
Out of bounds.
There's no explanation, and then they only show the replay once.
Yep.
Right? Kind of a big deal.
I confirmed with the rules czar here at Circa and on VSiN, Mike Palm. He used to be an official, and he knows like every rule. So the ball was slightly tipped.
Right.
But it's not pass interference here. It's not this. It does not equate. It's not the same thing. Yeah. Because if the ball gets tipped and then it looks like there's pass interference, that gets negated because the tipping of the ball changes everything. That is not the case for targeting. So if the ball is tipped, a player can still be targeted. That player clearly was, and yet they went to look at it and said, no, not targeting. And everybody is like, huh? What? That's not the call on the field? How do you come to that conclusion?
I know.
So
it's too bad. They had the game, and the 4th and 13, they missed the targeting, and it would have been just an iconic win in the history of college football and for that university. And the rallying cry would have been puke and rally after Scatterboo projectile vomiting on the side, drank too much water. Okay. And then Dillingham, okay, puke and rally, let's go and get it back together. How about him winning the MVP even though they lost?
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
rarely see it, but it's good that they did that.
Sure. I mean, if you watch the full game, who was the best player on the field? It was him, and it probably wasn't even close.
Mm-hmm.
So they got that right. This is great. At vsin.com, courtesy of Steve Makinen. Every week, I encourage people to read his nuggets, his numbers. I tweet it out as well every single week. And his story that came out, I think, yesterday or the day before here on the website.
I thought it was his son.
How about that?
Wasn't his son? Yeah, another Babka? Two Babkas?
He has to be a proud father.
Yeah.
AJ?
Yeah.
He's running numbers harder than his dad is. It's like Kenny White with Alex White now.
That's right. Get in the lab.
Sure. So it's he looked at, handicapping advice for resting starters in games week 17, week 18. I'll give you a couple of numbers here. And I would encourage, again, you go find it and you go read it for yourself. Over the last 13 years, the team resting its starters, they have a nice ATS edge of 20, 14, and 2. That's 58.8%. That's the team resting their starters. Week 17 and 18, 13 and 23 straight up. So they've actually won 13 of the games. Teams resting their starters against opponents that had at least 6 fewer wins are 7 and 11 straight up, 6, 9, and 3 ATS. And this is over the last 12 years. Road teams resting their starters are 16 and 17 straight up, but 23, 8, and 1 ATS. 7 outright upsets. 23, 8, and 1 ATS is 74.2%. Road teams resting their starters in these games.
It's a tough week. And we
always.
Need, remember, I'm going to try this on air. Mister, I can't give out no information from No Country. It's like, I need more information here. This is not, just tell us what you're going to do. Harbaugh, what are you going to do? Come on. Stop with the games and you're not going to, just tell me. If the Steelers lose, we're going for it. Tomlin, are you playing everybody? How long? It's like, come on. We're not trading national secrets here.
Well, how about this now? We actually got it from a couple of teams. And of all teams, the Patriots today.
I know.
Announced May is going to start, and they want to do whatever they can to win the game. And I'm baffled by this.
Yeah. Blow the number 1 pick.
So,
and okay. Yeah, sure. I don't get it either. And you saw what the Giants did last week. But Houston. Okay, how long are they playing? Just come out and tell me. Are you playing a half? That's probably what it looks like, because now Tennessee's back to a 1.5-point favorite. Did they just rough him? Jeez. But just tell the truth about what you're going to do here. And hopefully that happens Friday or Saturday, that these coaches just come out and we get more information here. But right now, other than Dan Quinn saying we're going to fight like hell to keep the 6, we don't have a lot to go on. And the Rams sitting people as well, but that's the big one. But
are you afraid of the Packers? Because here's the thing. If you're Green Bay and if you're Washington, you don't want the 7 seed. You want to be the 6 seed.
Yes. Based
on who your first-round opponent would be. You don't want to have to go to Philadelphia and play the Eagles. Right?
Okay.
So...
Okay, let me jump in, because this is why this is also ties into Survivor. This is why the Atlanta game's so difficult and the Green Bay-Chicago game is so difficult, even though there's rivals there. When you're playing at the same time and you're scoreboard watching, and what if Tampa's up 21-0 in the second quarter? What if Washington's pounding Dallas in the early second quarter, right? Then what do you do? Mm-hmm. Then it's just like, I might as well punt on the game. You want to win, whatever, Herm Edwards stuff. I mean, but also you're human. You're human as players. If you're Atlanta and you're going out there and you're taking on Carolina and word comes out or they show the scoreboard, whatever, people texting, looking at their phones, it's like, okay, well, 24-0 Tampa second quarter. All right, that'll do it. The same thing with Green Bay. Why are you going to fight and go through that when Washington has the 6 if they win and they're pounding the Cowboys and Trey Lance's?
Well, and another one, by the way, Carolina has been fighting down the stretch for a good 6 weeks, playing good football. What if they have the lead? What if Carolina is up 13-3 second quarter, and they're getting reports that, Washington has this 21-0 lead? At that point, they're going to be like, okay, it was a fun season, boys, but that'll do it for us, I guess. Sean McVay, this has been all over like Rams media, right? He has said this over and over and over again. Like all the starters are sitting. Garoppolo's going to get the start, and everybody in the world is going to be making a case for Blake Corum to go nuts this weekend. So Seattle's up to 6.5, and Geno has those incentives to play for.
Yep, I know, but still, it's how long does he play? And it's also Garoppolo, a veteran in there. So I'm with humans. I think this is out of control. Now, we'll see what McDonald says, but how long they go for it. But for a team that nothing to play for, to be laying 6.5 on the road, they just roughed him on back-to-back plays. Is that what happened? Oh, come on, Notre Dame. Get it together. What are you doing?
Wait, so they roughed the punter.
But that was of garden variety. They roughed him on back-to-back. The first one was garden variety, 5. The second one was running and running. But it was 4th and a mile.
I've never seen that before.
Back-to-back plays.
Oh, my God.
Get it together, man. Calm down.
They're dominating this game defensively. So that kid that roughed him has 3 block kicks, tied for the second most in college football this year.
Come on, then the punter's out here celebrating. Give me a break with the acting and everything. The Georgia punter's walking around like, come on, you buffoon.
Let me throw some hypothetical numbers at you.
Yeah,
These are up at FanDuel. NFL playoff matchups. Packers at Eagles. Philly 3, 47.5.
Okay, you were out. I saw your tweets, tough guy. I saw your tweets. What do you think? Are the Packers good?
Are you talking about me?
Well, yeah, because
tough guy?
No.
Oh. What?
No, you're like questioning the resume, which is fair.
No, I mean, right? Guys, look at their wins.
Yeah,
I'm concerned. How many good wins do they have?
I don't think Green Bay's that good. Came out awful. They were flat and getting blown out in both Minnesota games.
Correct.
Okay? Couldn't stop Philadelphia, right?
Couldn't stop Detroit.
Couldn't stop Detroit. Blown out at home by Detroit.
That's right.
Should have lost at home to Houston.
Yeah.
It's a bad resume. I like
Philly.
I like Philly. I'm picking up what you're putting down, tough guy.
Commanders at the Buccaneers. Tampa 2.5, 49.5.
Ooh, rematch of the Week 1 game.
Yeah.
Completely different Washington team. I would take the Commanders.
At 49.5.
I love, yeah, that too. Oh, good point.
Ooh,
yeah, that's a high scoring
game.
Yes. Yep.
Vikings 2.5 at the Rams.
Come on, too short. Come on. The Rams, you're not scared of the Rams.
I am.
No, that was not impressive last week.
I am.
Still?
Defense playing really good down the stretch.
The Vikings will beat the Rams.
Lions are 3 at the Rams.
That's a lot of respect.
Okay.
Ton of respect. Take VSiN with you wherever you go. Watch the VSiN Watch app. Never been easier to stay connected to the action, whether you're on your phone, tablet, or smart TV. And here's the best part, free for a limited time, 24/7 live access to the audio and video streams, replays of your favorite shows. Never miss a beat. Ability to stream directly to your smart TV for the big screen experience. Quick access to Clips by Sports. Everything tailored to your interest. Don't miss out. Get the VSiN Watch app. Stay in the game wherever you are. VSiN, baby.
Yeah, we'll expand on those hypothetical playoff matchups. Available again at FanDuel in the AFC coming up in a little bit. Paul Charchian on the program coming up next. Fantasy Football Hall of Famer, KFan Radio in Minneapolis. What are his best bets for one of the biggest regular season games in history on Sunday night? We'll ask him coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. Good to have you on board. We are live till 7 o'clock Eastern tonight, 4 o'clock on the West Coast, downtown Las Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is the spot. And on Thursdays throughout the year, we talk to Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian. He's also with KFan Radio in Minneapolis. He joins us, as always, now on the Progressive Guest Line. Good to see you again, Charch. Happy New Year. How are you?
I tried to take a week off, and it didn't work. I can't quit you guys. That's the problem. I can't quit you.
Hey, it's all right. The game's too big. I had to bring you back.
The game, it is. This is the biggest regular season game in the history of the Minnesota Vikings.
It's
the stakes have never been higher.
Pauly's calling it the biggest regular season game in the history of the sport.
Wow. See, I was wondering about that, but I didn't want to just take such a Viking-centric game. When you look at what's on the line, the differential between winning and losing, and all of the records that this game has set. And I'm sure you've already talked about this during the week, but first ever regular season game between two teams that have won 13 games. Well, they won 14 actually, but no two teams that ever met before that had won 13. The last time 14-win teams have met, it's always been the conference championship.
Yeah.
This is a regular season game.
Yeah.
It's only the fourth time in NFL history that both teams are 10 games over 500. The winner in all four of those, by the way, went on to win the championship. That would be the Seattle Seahawks in 2005, Washington in 1983, and then 1926. The Frankfurt Yellow Jackets were the winner of between two teams that were 10 games over 500, and they went on to win the NFL championship as well. I did not know the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets were a thing until this week.
That's incredible knowledge right there. So Pauly and I know someone who has $20,000 on the lines to win their division. He had to come back a couple of weeks ago and grab the Vikings at 7-1. I mean, can you imagine this? And I don't even know what the Vikings were before the season to win their division, right? Because the Lions and the Packers and the Bears, by the way, their win total was 9, and the Lions and Packers had super high numbers. So imagine having either one of these teams, they win 14 games in the regular season, and you can't win a division bet on them.
You can't cash it. Unbelievable. It's historic.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some books have the Lions 2.5, others 3. As always, shop around. At the biggest offshore book in the world, the total the other night got to 58.5, which is nuts. But the total's back around 56 or 56.5. I don't know. You tell us where the stop's coming from.
The Vikings do have the ability to create stops. Were we puntless on Monday night, by the way? I think there were no punts in that game.
Yes. No punts.
Yes.
No punts. I mean, and this is why I lean Vikings, although, I'm so emotionally invested in the Vikings. You should not take betting advice from me on this. But the Vikings defense is at least capable of generating stops, and particularly against the run. Now, here's what you need to know about the run, especially if you're looking at what the Vikings have given up over the last month, where it looks like the run defense has gotten a lot worse. They were playing some or all those games with their 2 missing linebackers that are critical to them, Blake Cashman and Ivan Pace. Now, when those 2 guys are in, the Vikings, by virtually every metric, have the best run defense in the NFL. And when those 2 guys are out, they fall right to the middle of the pack. And they're both playing in this game. And we saw them, last week they did the run defense only allowed 4 yards per carry. And this is where the Vikings can generate stops, is by slowing down Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, Gibbs ran through the Vikings in the last game, but Ivan Pace was missing for the last game when these teams met. Cashman was missing for that game. So, point being, I think the Vikings can generate some stops. And if Minnesota can stop the Lions like 3 times, 2 times, then I think the Vikings win. I think that's all it takes here. And maybe I'm not seeing it clearly, but the Lions defense is just so bad. And the Vikings coaches, this is, I think, an underrated point.
Yes.
The Vikings coaches have now had 3 days to figure out all of these off the street guys that are playing for the Lions and start picking apart the defects and why they were off the street. And, I think, we're seeing all the points that they've given up. I just think coaches are going to tear this thing apart. And I think the Vikings are going to put up a ton of points in this game against this defense. And I don't know that I can say the same thing against the Lions when I know the Vikings have at least one method to slow down Detroit.
Well said. I agree. And Detroit's going to have to play a perfect game on offense to win these games, which means gambling, being super aggressive, going for every 4th down. You can't make a mistake. You're exactly right. So what do you think? Who eats for the Vikings? I mean, is it everybody? Is it Jefferson? Is it Addison? Darnold was phenomenal again last week.
Jefferson could have an extremely, extremely strong game. I mean, Kindle Vildor's on the field, which is an automatic go for me. And Jordan Addison has turned into one of the best separation receivers in the league. That guy is able to spin defenders, get separation, and Darnold's finding him. The guy, if Alex Anzalone comes back, their linebacker, and he's the one guy that could come back for this defense, he's one of the best coverage linebackers in the league, and that might tie up Hawkinson or maybe Aaron Jones out of the backfield. We liked Aaron Jones out of the backfield last week. And if it turns out that Anzalone goes, then that might dry up a little bit here. So that might be a distinction. But for the Vikings offense, I love the passing game in this one. Vikings coming off their best blocked game from a pass blocking standpoint of the entire season last week.
I'm guessing that you would like to play Sam Darnold 3+ touchdowns in this game in the air.
Absolutely in play. Yeah. Absolutely in play. And do you know what that number looks like?
It's not available yet. Books are going to be taking their time, I think, to post a lot of these props for Week 18.
Yeah, which I can understand, right? There's so many shifting sands in Week 18. Which teams have motivation, which ones don't, which are resting starters. I can understand that because it's hard. But the thing on this game is the motivation level is insane, off the charts high for both teams.
Yeah.
I mean, there's very few variables here on the Sunday night game between Minnesota and Detroit. So I don't know why lines aren't getting posted earlier.
Well, to your point earlier, we don't have to do a lot on this. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. They have to tinker with this system. I mean, if you lose, you're the 5. You have to go on the road, and then they might play in the second week of the playoffs as well, which is absolute lunacy. So as a Hall of Famer, what do you think and what do you make of what happened last week and that the NFL is going to play on every Christmas now about do we have to move up the championship games of fantasy because of the calendar?
Well, almost all fantasy leagues now have migrated from week 18 to week 17, and that's the right stopping point. So I think mostly they got this thing figured out. This was a bigger issue years ago when when leagues were still playing the last week of the season. But I think most leagues have already figured that stuff out, Pauly, and we're looking at like 1% of leagues that are still playing.
To 16. To 16.
Yeah, just move to 16.
16.
You're saying 16?
No,
well,
16.
but 17 people still. Who did we lose last week?
We lost Hurts. The Tua thing was ridiculous. You have to put your stuff in early, and we had Wednesday games.
Games are spread out over 6 days. They're played on 5 different days. Charge.
Yeah, that is a fair point. And the data that you have for the Wednesday game is a lot of times super sketchy. But I don't see that changing soon.
You don't?
To be honest, nope,
okay.
I don't.
Yeah, I got to tell you. I mean, I said this the other day on the air when Pauly asked me the question. And it's not going to be as bad next year because I think Christmas is going to be on a Thursday. But when they play Christmas games on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, right, in future years, I'm going to have to tell the commissioners, look, we're going to have to bump these up to week 16. I'm just going to have to.
We might. Yeah. Look, if you want to crown the right team, that's the way to do it for sure. You want to be 100% confident. You'd have to end it in 16, and take out those variables that come with weird Tuesday, Wednesday games. Yeah. But if you feel like overwhelmingly, there's a couple of teams that are going to be affected, but not every NFL team, and we'd rather have the extra week of play, I think that's a defensible position as well. It's not in week 18. Yep.
I'm seeing right now, actually, some books have posted numbers for this game already. So Sam Darnold's passing yards prop is 278.5, the lowest number that I can see. Mm-hmm. And the passing touchdowns prop, I'm only looking at one book. I'll keep digging. 1.5, but the over is minus 205.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think if they played this thing 10 times, you'd hit the over on 8 of them. So I don't like that number, but still, I'd take a 50% return on my money and take the over on the 1.5. In part because the Lions' run defense, with all the problems they've had, their run defense has still been pretty good. They shut down Isaac Guerrero and DeAndre Swift the past 2 weeks. Although in the games before that, Buffalo's runners totaled 285 yards. And then the game before that, Josh Jacobs scored 3 times. But, so they're going to have some lapses. But the run defense has still been reasonably good. So I just think the Vikings points are going to come through the air where they're going to throw at will. Brock Purdy, as broken down and as that offense was, he was unstoppable through the air for Pete's sake. And this offense is going so much better.
Guys were wide open the whole game.
Wide open.
Yep.
Well, I mean, at least you've never set yourself up to feel, heartbreak before as a Minnesota sports fan.
Never.
So
no.
What could possibly go wrong on Sunday night?
No. Knowing us, our stadium could collapse. We could, we could have some kind of like weird blimp that flies into the headquarters for the Vikings and explodes and, like 9 players down. But we'll probably save all that for the NFC Championship.
Yes,
game.
I would think
that makes more sense.
That's where we really love to do the joke job is right there. Yeah. 6 straight losses in NFC Championship games.
All right, buddy. Good luck this weekend. Thank you for the time. We appreciate that.
Thank you. We deserve a win over here in Minnesota. I mean, the Lions fans do too. They deserve the win as well. But, man, we'd like to win.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy.
Win-lose coming up next.
Last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Fun day yesterday on the air with the finish with Arizona State, Texas, overtime, 18-1. First touchdown of the game, Moore, 17-1. First touchdown of the Rose Bowl, Smith, plus 650. Ohio State, Oregon over, 52.5 up to 55.5. No problem. Illinois, Chicago, plus 225. I love the Drake. What happened? Drake, their first loss on the season. Tough one. And the Wizards, plus 220. Punked the Bulls. Lower league soccer, everyone was in action yesterday. Oxford United, plus 440. Burnley, draw against Stoke, plus 320. Leeds against Blackburn, I believe. Draw, plus 450. the league under the Premier League, English Championship. Picks coming up with the Meat Man, who's been on fire in a second. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com, our radio and podcast friend. You always want to see these tweets and videos. At Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in. Can't wait to put you on TV. Tell your friends. Look at this. Bentley loves the snow, and the owner made a little track for him after a big snowstorm, and a little racetrack for Bentley. And he just goes all around and around and around as he's got his racetrack and all the snow drifts and no problem. He's a smart boy. He can figure it out.
Tremendous. Doesn't it make you miss snow?
Yes, that's great.
Yeah. I love the snow. I hate the cold.
All right, fair enough. Sounds good. And Bentley's loving life. That's a great video. Lose some. Raptors Nets under. 223 down to 218. 130 to 113. Figured the Raptors would respond after getting humiliated. Wizards Bulls over. 236.5 up to 242. 125 to 107. Also, according to reports, they're starting casting for Scream 7. Is that where we're at? I mean, come on.
I will say that I picked up the franchise with like the latest movies that they made. Jenna Ortega's in it.
Okay.
A couple of other like big name, like trendy actors and actresses. Not bad. I didn't hate him. But also my expectations were down here, like in the muck.
Sure.
Could not have been any lower.
Yeah.
So that's probably one reason why I thought they were actually okay. That said, do we need 7 of them?
Outrageous. How many Friday the 13th did they make? I remember I went to the theater and saw Jason Takes Manhattan. Then they made like a bunch after that, too.
Oh, my God. I don't even know if I've seen more than 1 or 2 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they always would come on you. They freaked me out. Yeah, as a kid. Jason Voorhees?
Yeah.
Ooh, scary fella.
Was Jason Takes Manhattan any good? There's no way it was good.
No.
Okay.
No. But then again, I'm like, I don't know, I'm like 12 years old
Sure.
or something, right? It's a big deal. Look at Lose Some here. Look at the French Bulldog. You believe this? He's in the trash. He's got his butt hanging out. He's face first in the trash. Look, you're coming in. And the other, like, what are you doing? Yeah, I was trying to get something, right? Okay, let me get out. You caught me, right? And then I think it's his dad. I think it's his dad here when he watched. Look at the dad. What are you doing, buddy? What happened? All right, I'm coming in. Look at this guy. He's jumping on the trash. His ass is hanging out. It's dangling. Face first in the trash thing and a Claire.
Oh.
Probably a jelly donut.
Pulling a Costanza here. Pushing other puppies out of the way when there's a fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. Like the boxer stuck in the cabinet
Look,
the other
still
day.
shot.
Oh, that's a good job, guys. Look at him. What is he doing? Come on, buddy. Smart guy, though. He knows.
Oh, yeah.
He knows what's in there.
There's
The
something
buried
good down in
treasure.
there.
Good for you, buddy. Get after it, young fella. One bad beat. Fourth quarter while we were live on the air, Arizona State 11-1 in play to win the game. Yeah, it was a tough one.
Yep.
VSiN has the ultimate gift for you or the sports better in your life. Final week to take advantage of the holiday special. Get VSiN Pro access. Everything we offer through May 1st. Just $79. Sign up now. Instant access. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The betting splits from DraftKings and Circa. 24/7 video access. And the guides. VSiN.com/subscribe. Get it now. Tell your friends it's loaded. Everything you want. So much information up there every day. Every sport. Soccer, NBA, college hoops. VSiN.com.
All right, so here's the latest now at the Sugar Bowl. Notre Dame just picked up their first down of the game. We're at the end of the first quarter. They're about to begin the second quarter right now in New Orleans. And the Fighting Irish are looking at a 3rd down and 11 at their own 26-yard line. And it just flipped before the previous play. They were actually minus 1.5 in the game. Then it went to Georgia as now currently at DraftKings. Georgia's minus 1.5. Total is down to 32.5 as Riley Leonard's back to pass and not even close to a first down. So here, I'm watching after we were off the air yesterday, I'm watching the Rose Bowl with Mike Pullman, a couple of other guys here from Circa and the D. And one of the gentlemen down there made a great point when you were watching Oregon on offense. They're down by 34 points. Everything was a struggle on offense. How often does that happen? Every single time Gabriel had to run for his life and he could not find open receivers. It's like Ohio State was playing with 14 guys on defense. They couldn't run the ball. They kept trying to run the ball. I was losing my damn mind. And then even when they're that far behind, Ohio State's pressure on defense was so good they could do nothing. That's my early take here from Notre Dame's offense. Everything has been a struggle so far.
Well, they've had 2 possessions, but...
Well, no, I'm saying they have...
Let me say this. This has all the makings. Because Georgia knows with a backup quarterback, it's just ground and pound, and run, this has all the makings. Or else you could see an 8-minute drive come up with nothing, or a field goal.
Well, we had that because Georgia was driving. That. It was 3rd down and 1. Etienne, I think, ripped off 6 yards, fumbled the ball, gave it back to Notre Dame.
Yeah, this could be a special game.
So, again, 1 full quarter in the books, scoreless. Georgia has 58 yards. Notre Dame has 17. Georgia has 5 first downs. Notre Dame has 1.
Yeah, they got to hold up front. That'd be the big concern because it looks like Riley Leonard doesn't have a lot of time to throw.
No.
So, and if they can't get the run going, which I think, let's give it time, but it's Georgia in play right now. So
you've cashed 2 bets already.
Yeah.
You had no score first 5. I love that bet. Great job out of you. And also the first quarter actually was bet down to 9.5 at almost every book that I can see. Yeah. And
I went 10 significant juice. Yep.
Okay. And then did you see scoreless quarter at all anywhere?
I didn't see it at Circa. I'm sure it was available. I know.
All right. So
that
30,
I didn't look at, though.
31.5 can be a key number, right? 17-14 still stays under. Is that too high of a total right now?
No. I played under 36.5 at the last commercial break.
Yeah, look at that. So that's just dropped 5 points in the last couple of minutes then.
Yeah, it's also how it looks. It has all the makings. It looks 13-10.
Let's get...
that might be aggressive.
Let's go 9. If this game ends 9-6 with like 5 field goals, beers are on me. The whole crew. Taking out the whole crew. And then some.
Good.
And maybe we'll get a Cabana invite. We'll do that one of these times. I'm telling you, one of these times when I say this on the air and a big bet comes in, I'll get a Cabana. We'll have like a viewing party.
Say Gentleman's Club, because when I did it, it came in.
Gentleman's Club. And you know what? Then my wife can't hold that against me because it's like I said it on the air.
Blame it on me.
Right? It's a verbal contract at that point.
Yeah.
I said Gentleman's Club. That means we have to go there then.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do about it. Sorry.
Sure.
Maybe next time I won't open my mouth.
Do you think Ole Miss puts the hammer down in the night game?
Boy, I've gone back and forth a lot on this game. Yes, the answer is yes. I think it's going to be the exact opposite of South Carolina and Alabama, those performances.
The mouth of the South.
Right, and look, Illinois is a good football team. Bielema did a great job with that team. And South Carolina that number was out of control in my opinion. Bet Illinois, thank goodness that was a winner. I had no action on the Alabama-Michigan game, but Alabama got bet to 16.5, right? And lost the game outright. I just think that Lane Kiffin running his mouth on Twitter, he put the phone down, Jack, and he hasn't done so yet, calling out the committee over and over and over again. Okay, pal, here's your chance. Duke is without their starting quarterback. They're without their starting running back. They're without others in this game. I know that Ole Miss will have a couple of guys not playing it in the spot, but go ahead and run it up. Feel free to score 70 today. If you think that this is going to prove a point that you belonged in the playoffs over teams that you had a major problem with getting in, you can do this potentially against Duke. And there's a huge, huge pass play for Georgia. And that is all the way down inside the 15-yard line. Looks like...
Flag!
I'll bring it back.
Bring that sucker back.
Please be holding. Let's see here. Stockton was back to pass.
They rough
had a
him.
guy isolated. That's a...
Horrible coverage.
It's a good pass.
Yeah.
Tackled at the
Guy's
10.
falling down. Did he grab him?
We're not going to get offensive PI or anything like that there. Oh, boy.
Horrible coverage.
Yeah, you're right. Stockton made Notre Dame secondary pay. That was a great pass.
Roughing. Probably going to call. Is that the flag with roughing?
Is that what it was?
I don't know.
All right.
It looks like it.
So now look at this. Back to 37.5 now with the total.
How do you give that up? Come on.
Georgia's now 5.5 in play.
What's Ole Miss first half? Is it 10? Can you get it 9.5? I mean, it has all the makings, right? If he does that.
Oh, well, I mean, so
Ole Miss to just punish him right away. And
you asked me, is that the side that you fall into as well?
You're making sense. Yeah, he's a lunatic. I mean, how he's behaving like a child. So
it really is.
It would make sense. He could say, "See, told you so." Even though they lost twice as a double-digit favorite.
All right, I'll get that first quarter number for you when we come back. And also, we're going to dive into soccer with the beat man, Steve Wisk, get his best bets for the weekend next year on VSiN.